Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday preview. Chaos Comes to the Mortal Realms. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. The forces of chaos are ever present in the mortal realms. The legions of Archaon wage war to extend his dominion, alongside the innumerable demonic servants of the ruinous powers. The World Championship of Warhammer are taking place in Atlanta, Georgia next week, alongside the Grand Narrative. Teams from all over the world will be competing for the glory at the most prestigious tournament event in the world, while the fate of Cassandra sector will be decided during parallel events held simultaneously in the United States and Great Britain. There are also loads of Warhammer reveals coming during a special preview shown on the Friday the 22nd of November. Tune in on the Warhammer YouTube channel at 6 p.m. GMT for oodles of other good stuff. More soldiers are on the march in next week's pre-orders, while the collection of combatants are heading to the Warhammer Underworlds. There's also a great selection of Black Library books incoming. Alright, so we got quite a few releases coming this week. First off, we have Battletome, Slaves of Darkness. With the Skaven shifting the balance of power in the 8 realms, the forces of chaos are resurgent once more. The Slaves to Darkness are ready to grind all opposition beneath their fur-lined boots, with a brand new Battletome taking them into the new edition. Okay, very cool. So we have the actual Slaves to Darkness Battletome coming, and then we have also the Players Edition, which will include the cards as well, and then obviously a little smaller version of the Battletome. Battletome Slaves to Darkness covers the background for the faction from top to bottom across 128 pages. It includes battle traits, battle formations, heroic traits, and artifacts of power and spells, prayers, and manifestation lores, with a total of 43 war scrolls, alongside a new Darkoath Spearhead. Armies of renown, such as Be'lakor's legions of the First Prince, are also featured and includes 8 demonic unit war scrolls for use exclusively with this army. The Anvil of Apotheosis lets you create your own ambitious hero and lead them to bloody victory in the path to glory. There's also a small format Gamers Edition package with a complete set of reference cards available while stocks last. Alright, so to lead the charge, we have a brand new Chaos Lord sculpt, and very cool Chaos Lord right here. The old Chaos Lord was definitely nice, but a little bit on the dated side and a little redundant if you're running more than one. Now we've got a new Chaos Lord to join the ranks. The forces of chaos are full of those that have mastered the use of dark magic. Those warlocks and sorcerers who tap into the powers demonic are sometimes granted the gift of foresight, manipulating events and rising through the ranks to become all-powerful Chaos Sorcerer Lords. This new miniature has options for both head and staff toppers. And a very cool new model right here. Definitely going to be excited about this guy. Alright, and then we have Abraxia, the Spear of the Everchosen, going to be available for individual purchase now. The 8 circles of the Vanguard are manned by elite warriors personally chosen by Archaon himself. Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen, commands the Swords of Chaos, the first circle of Archaon's chosen, with matchless skill and unbreakable will. From atop her monstrous steed, Thanatorg, Abraxia wields the cursed Varanite Spear, Gorbolga the Cursed, whose merest touch rends armor and warps flesh armor alike. Available for the first time as a solo release, Abraxia is ready to command your Slaves of Darkness with the Ironclad Fist. And next we have the Darkoath Raiders, the brand new Spearhead box. Under the command of the fearsome Darkoath Queen, a new Spearhead raises its weapons to do battle for the Slaves to Darkness. Accompanying her on the path to glory, littered with future bloody conquests, are 10 Darkoath Savagers, 10 Darkoath Marauders, and 5 Darkoath Fell Riders, making this the greatest muscle to miniature ratio available in any Spearhead box. Alright, so a nice new Spearhead box right here. We have the War Queen, a very cool character model, and then we have 10 of the Darkoath Savages, one of the previous warcry warbands, and then we have 10 of the new Darkoath Marauders, and 5 Darkoath Fell Riders. All phenomenal models that have been released only in the last couple of years. Very cool. And next we have the Darkoath Warscroll Cards and Dice set. No army is complete without Warscroll Cards and Dice. This set of 57 quick reference cards has every Warscroll found in the Battletome, Slaves to Darkness, including those for use with the Battletome Legion of the First Prince Army of Renown, as well as those needed for the Darkoath Raiders Spearhead. A set of 16 black dice with bright white pips, and an 8-pointed star of the Slaves to Darkness on the 6 face to round things out. So we got the Warscroll Cards, and then available separately the Dice set as well. And then coming to Warhammer Underworlds, we got a couple of new warbands and then a bunch of returning ones. The primal might of the Seraphon comes to the Warhammer Underworlds in the Jaws of Itzl. Separated from their cold-blooded cohort and slant Starmaster by a cave-in, this band of Saurus warriors and accompanying critters act part through the bloodthirsty instinct, and in part through sporadic telepathic commands by their Starmaster. As a strike warband, they excel at hitting hard and fast, their scaled armor and savage weapons making them resilient and dangerous in equal measure. So very cool, some brand new models. Definitely a big fan of the new sculpts here. These are very cool. And then we have Grandfather's Gardens. Rot finds its way into all corners of the mortal realms, and the sweltering tunnels beneath Embergard are fertile ground for the roots of the Garden of Nurgle to take hold, especially under the watchful gaze of the Grandfather's Gardens, a gaggle of dour-faced and green-thumbed plague-bearers. They plod inexorably into combat at the whims of the ever-turning cycle of decay, weathering incoming blows with ease. This Mastery Warband is governed by the cycle, their abilities and damage output keying off the constant ebb and flow. Okay, so once again, very cool. Some beautiful new sculpts right here. We got like a little mini plague fly. We've got a plague bear like with a book, little sorcerer action right there. And then we have some very nice new sculpts for the plague bearers. Definitely a big fan of these sculpts. Absolutely love all of the Warhammer Underworlds warbands. They always have the best sculpts. Now a quick word from today's sponsor, CMO Games. CMO Games carries a full range of Games Workshop products including miniatures, paint, terrain, tools, and more. They take pre-orders for most Games Workshop new releases as early as possible, usually 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. CMO Games offers 15% off of MSRP for most all Games Workshop products and offer fast free shipping to the continental United States on orders over $50. Most orders ship out within 24 hours. You know their customer service is top-notch as they've been selling games online for over 20 years. Use the affiliate link below and let them know that Warhammer Man sent you. And next we have the Reckless Fury and Wrack and Ruin Rivals decks. So 2 new Rivals decks. Accompanying these 2 warbands are 2 Rivals decks matching their play styles. Reckless Fury embodies a strike archetype, tasking players with accumulating and manipulating charge tokens as they invade enemy territory. Wrack and Ruin is a mastery deck which requires players to use positioning in the treacherous steps of the Embergard to set traps and score big from leading opponents into terrible fates. And then we have our new box sets coming, 1 for each of the Grand Alliances. So first we have Heroes and Hunters, 19 miniatures, Forces of Order Herd to Embergard. Get involved in the new edition with a set of 4 pre-existing warbands and their accompanied fighter and Warscroll cards. This box contains Hexbane's Hunters, Myari's Purifiers, Thundrik's Profiteers, and Yelthari's Guardians. And then we have Despoilers and Daemons, the Chaos warbands. Fans of Chaos can prepare for the new edition with a set of 4 pre-existing warbands and their accompanying fighters and Warscroll cards. This box contains Kagra's Ravagers, Ephelim's Pandemonium, the Dread Pageant, and the Gorchosen of Drom. And then we have Revenants of the Realm. Warhammer Underworld is no stranger to the forces of death. The box that kicked it all off was set in the city curse with the supreme god of the undead. You can extend Nagash's dominion with a set of 4 pre-existing warbands and their accompanying fighters and Warscroll cards. This box contains the Headsman's Curse, the Crimson Court, Kainen's Reapers, and Grimwatch. And then to round it all out, we've got the Brutes and Bandits. Where there's fighting to be done and plunder to be found, the Brutes and Bandits of destruction are sure to be near. Grab your weapons and join the brawl with a set of 4 pre-existing warbands and their accompanying fighters and Warscroll cards. This box contains Gringrak's Loon Court, Morgok's Crushes, Black Powder's Buccaneers, and a cunning crew. So very cool to see a bunch of these warbands that have been hard to get being re-released and boxed up in sets of 4 based on the Grand Alliance that they're affiliated with. You'll be able to grab up a few of your favorite warbands at a nice little discount. And then we have Warscroll cards for the Warbands of Embergard. If you've got all the above warbands, or most of them, you can get your fighter and Warscroll cards for all 16 of the warbands of Embergard. These cards differ slightly to those contained within the 4 boxes above, with photography of the warbands on the reverse of the Warscroll cards. So basically, if you already have all those warbands, or at least like a bunch of them, and you want to pick up the Warscroll cards without having to buy the new box sets, you can get these Warscroll cards. It says they slightly differ, but I would imagine all the stats and everything are the same. It's just a matter of how they're actually laid out on the cards. Alright, and then from Black Library, a couple of things coming out. We have the Interceptor City Mega Edition. So we can see all of the contents of the Mega Edition. And then here they are laid out in the display box. You got the actual book itself, a couple of little trinkets to go along with it, a map, and then another mini book as well. And of course, this will be a limited release available while stocks last. And then we have the Elemental Council, a new Tau novel. We have Lazarus, Enmity's Edge being re-released. And then we have some Gaunt's Ghost books coming back for print on demand. So if you're after any of these, make sure to get your orders in while the made-to-order window is still open. So very cool, bunch of new stuff coming this week for the Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms. We got the Slaves to Darkness making their debut with their brand new Battletome, alongside a new Spearhead box and a new character. We also have some brand new Warhammer Underworlds warbands coming up for sale, alongside the return of some of these 4-pack box sets for some of the hard-to-get old warbands. And then a big card pack for anybody that already has all these warbands but wants to be able to play them in the new edition. So very cool. Let me know what you're most excited about. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on most Games Workshop products. And make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.